connect.
I'm ready.
All right. I don't even know if we got audio. Check. Okay, we do.
Check.
Welcome to the Wake.Show. As everybody knows, a show needs an intro. This is that intro. I am Fisher in the foreground, Sam in the back. She only has one more day left. That makes me kind of sad. Welcome to the Wake.Show, everybody.
We got it out at 11:11, everyone.
Yeah,
it's only taken months of work.
Is this the first time, or did we pull this off
We
once
pulled it
before?
off the first day that you wanted to do this.
Okay. Yeah, we were at 11:11. For some reason, I just can't be on time. The only thing that I'm really good about being on time for are the weddings that I DJ, because I'm so terrified of ruining somebody's special day that the anxiety forces me to be there way in advance. Well, good morning, and we also like to say good morning to our good friends from Single Source Insurance, our sponsor for the first 15 minutes of the Wake.Show. Good morning, Jeff Godcharles. Congratulations. Thank you so much. More to come, and we're very excited about today's episode too. You know how great was? Did you get a chance to watch back anything yesterday?
I did.
How great was Zach Raley?
Oh, he's phenomenal.
From Single Source.
Yeah.
Now, we had him on the show yesterday, and he came on. Well, his company is sponsoring our show, Single Source, right?
Yes.
But this guy is a silver medalist in the Olympics in sailing. And he started talking about business and about achieving goals and da-da-da-da. And next thing, well, you did make that comment, didn't you? You said something.
Said he should be your inspirational coach.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think that's what we'll do, because, one of the deals that we have with the show, you're a sponsor like that, you get to come in on the show a couple times a month. And so I think we found what he'll be coming on the show and doing, bringing us some inspiration. That was great.
Did you do your social push out?
Okay, so let's talk about that. So Sam's leaving on Friday.
Tomorrow. On Friday.
Her last day is tomorrow.
My last day is tomorrow.
Our guest tomorrow. Good morning. Hey, Todd T. there from the couch. Good morning, Robert, Eric, Samantha.
That's
Robert.
me.
Oh. Hi, Samantha.
Hello.
Hi. So we're going to continue that positivity today. We're very excited to bring in Hall of Famer and Super Bowl champ Earl Christie, who will be coming in the studio today. And I'm very excited about this. Todd T. Riley is the one that turned me on to him. And so he played in in Super Bowl III with Joe Namath. Also, for those of you that are a little older, Sam, this might not be in your in your brain, but there's a famous game called the Heidi. Was the Heidi Bowl? Did they call it the Heidi Game? The Heidi Game, and this was a game between the Jets and the Raiders, right? And we'll talk a little bit more about it. But basically, because what had happened is that the game was coming down to the wire, and they cut the game and played the show Heidi that they had scheduled for sweeps. And so America went bonkers, absolutely bonkers, that they cut off the game, because the end of the game ended up being it went back and forth and very exciting. So that set a precedent in history as far as sports television goes here in America, where from that point on, networks vowed to make sure they let the game play out and not cut to
that's so funny.
whatever programming they have. Well, fast forward now 40 years. Well, I guess we'll bring this up when we'll bring this up when Earl comes on. But fast forward a couple years, I get annoyed though on a Sunday night if it's a game I don't care about, and it's a team's running away with it. And I've tuned in to see my Simpsons. My Simpsons and my Family Guy, and it's got pushed back in the DVR, and now I've missed it. I have to go back and get it on demand.
Well, a lot of the times now, if they're doing like a show after the Super Bowl, they're not going to give you a time. They're just going to be like, after the Super Bowl, check out this show.
Well, you would think that after a few years and many, many times being annoyed, that I would just figure out to record every show on a Sunday night on Fox, so that I make sure that I get all my shows. But
there you go.
All right,
you doing your social push?
Oh, okay. So, so that being, thank you. See,
you're welcome. I just want to make sure that we get you into this routine.
This is why you
won't be here.
This is why you can't leave, Sam. This is why you can't leave.
I'm going to Colombia next week. I'm so excited.
Oh gosh, good for
I'm
you.
hyped.
You found your passport. Everything's taken care of.
I didn't lose my passport. I've had it.
Okay. Well, I mean, you have it.
I found
you have
it.
Don't wait till the last second.
I found it.
Okay.
Everything's solid.
I guess that might have been more me projecting my own fears onto myself because
No, I have everything. I have everything squared away. I have to go exchange my currency next week before we leave and call my credit card company and make sure that they know that I'm in Colombia.
All right. Good morning, Max Cooper, Jason Hurst, Chris Johnson. It's good to see your name on the stream this morning. Likes and shares are much appreciated as we grow this new show. We just had our 100th episode yesterday. Thank you so much for all the love and support, everybody that came by. Dats.
Oh, that was so good. We have tons of leftovers upstairs, Chris.
I've already had 3 sandwiches.
Today?
Today,
oh,
yeah.
You went upstairs.
Yeah.
I watched you.
I didn't eat breakfast on purpose.
We're so excited. We have to eat those sandwiches.
Okay.
Because they're going to go bad.
Okay.
So I'm just letting you know. Right. That's what's going on.
Another tangent gets in my head. But here we go. So Sam's last day is tomorrow. And so I guess I'll be handling social push out at the beginning of the show.
Correct.
So when I fire things off here in the beginning of the show, and it still has the screen that says the Wake.Show will begin momentarily. Likes and shares appreciated. That's when you want me to start pushing things out, right? I'm not gonna fire up the show and then go, hold on, everybody, let me push things out, right?
Correct.
Okay. Do I push things out from over here or over here?
Either one.
It doesn't really matter?
Yeah, all you have to do is click share on, so you can go over to your big screen, and on that thing where you have like your list of people, click
right
share.
Do we have a share here?
It normally, my laptop just died, but it normally
Can
will be there at the top.
I know what you're...
Maybe because you're recording on that one,
yeah, so
you might have to go to your other screen and share it from like the Wake.Show page.
Well, that's doing the same thing there. So I'm thinking if I come over to the personal here.
Okay, it's probably because it's taking the stream and stuff that you can't do anything right now.
Take that stream. Should I be sharing from the Wake.Show or sharing from my personal? Doesn't matter. Okay.
Nope.
Thank you for your patience, everybody. We'll get to On This Day here momentarily, and then I'll bring our guests in. Todd, I'd like you to come in too as well. All right. I haven't, you've been hanging around here doing some stuff and staying quiet in the background, but I'd like to introduce you to the world. Cool. I mean, I know the world knows you, but what am I doing here? Part of the world does anyway. Some of the world.
Scroll down a little bit. Share.
All right.
Share to a page at the bottom. Click on Fisher the Man. Nope.
Oops, sorry.
Stay like that. Yeah, there you go. Fisher the Man. And then you can just copy that description.
I didn't put one over.
No, you see how it has it? Yeah.
Yep.
You could just copy that. Click on cancel and then copy it from the page.
They're all leaving, Sam.
It's okay. We have to do this.
Okay.
Copy the description. Solid.
Damn it.
Bear with us, everyone. I'm trying to train him.
Now you sound like my wife. I'm not even kidding. She used to brag that my training was coming along nicely.
Where's Joey? Oh, Joey's asleep on the couch. He looks very cute.
All right, so there we go and go.
Oh, wait. Only half of it copied. It's all good.
Welcome to the Wake.Show.
Copy the whole description.
Everybody knows I'm half an idiot.
Stop.
I'm 2 halves an idiot. Share to a page. All right, take 3. Let's see if I can.
Solid.
See if this 45-year-old man can figure out Facebook.
Fisher the Man.
Fisher the Man.
Paste the description. And now click post.
Okay. We're done.
And there we have it, everyone.
Yay. Thank you, Eric. And everybody who supported us and liked and shared the 100th episode yesterday. That was a lot. That was nerve-wracking, Sam.
That was a great show.
I haven't watched it.
Thank you to Jonathan and to Single Source Insurance and Lauren and everybody who came in. Yeah, Kurt Schreiner.
Charles Marco and his son who came out. That was awesome.
Dats, everybody that came through. What was that kid's name? Justin? Justin from Dats.
Yeah, Justin from Dats. So, all right, let's get to On This Day. We like to do On This Day to put things in perspective so that we remember that even though the news of the day might get us a little riled, maybe even a little nervous that things are about to go south quickly, the chances are likely that this too shall pass, and everything ends up just a footnote in history. On this day, here we go. Number one, do you know much? Did you guys study Machiavelli?
Yeah, I know who that is.
Okay. So on this day in 1469, Niccolo Machiavelli is born. And I read some, because I read this before you got in here. And Niccolo. Because, in modern culture, Machiavelli is associated with those, I don't want to call them psychopaths, but basically the thing that made him famous, this book Prince or The Prince or something like that, which was inspired by an actual prince or something of that time, was basically saying that the perfect ruler, the perfect king, would be amoral. I should have had it right here in front of me. Is basically amoral. Amoral, an amoral calculating tyrant for whom the end justifies the means. So basically, if a ruler should have a certain acumen and see the big picture out there and strive to get there and not worry about who he tramples on along the way, and the end justifies the means. So a lot of people have taken that in recent years and run with it. It's become you guys know Machiavelli. All right. So anyway, whatever. We'll come back to Machiavelli another time.
Mad founder's daughter killed by drunk driver.
Yeah, this
Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
Yep, mad founder's daughter killed by a drunk driver on this day in 1980. This was 13-year-old Carly Leitner of Fair Oaks, California. She's walking along a quiet road on her way to church, a church carnival, when a car swerves out of control, striking and killing her. Her tragic death compelled her mother, Candy, to found the organization Mothers Against Drunk Driving, which would grow into one of the country's most influential nonprofit organizations. I can't even. We don't even need to go down that path. Let's see what else. On this day in 1992, Exxon executive is murdered.
Exxon.
Well, I want to click on this one real quickly. I don't know what this is, even though I was 19 years old. Let's see here. Executive Sidney Resso dies in a storage vault in New Jersey. Oh, my gosh. It's like an episode of The Sopranos. 4 days earlier, he was abducted from the driveway of his Morris Township, New Jersey home. He was shot in the arm, bound and gagged, then placed in a wooden box that was hidden in a virtually airless storage. Oh, my gosh.
Sounds horrific.
So they shot him, bound and gagged him, then put him in a box that was virtually in the storage space that was virtually airless to sit there and slowly die. Despite his death, the kidnappers continued with their ransom plans. The kidnappers, notably, so they were trying to get $18.5 million. Holy smokes.
Well, all right.
Well, all right indeed.
Just so you know, for our quote of the day today, my laptop just died, so you're going to have to pull up the quote that I gave you already.
So we'll go to your standard?
My favorite quote, yeah.
From Anonymous?
Yeah.
All right, I've got it. I've got it ready to go.
All right.
On this day, James Brown is born in 1933. Yeah, I feel good. Sorry, I should not. I should save those moments for Chris McCarty. Chris McCarty, by the way, will be back on Monday.
Nashville.
Yep, he's in Nashville writing for
Chase Rice.
Chase Rice, thank you so much. I'm going to be embarrassed one day when I meet Chase Rice. And I forget his name right in front of his face.
I'm sure Chris will prep you.
It's such an easy name to remember, and he's a big star. I should remember the darn name. Maybe I should just download his album and listen to it, and by the time I get done with it, I'll have...
Chris might have a credit soon on writing his track.
How cool would that be?
That'd be awesome.
I can't wait. Can't wait to see how what happens. But you know what? You can't put anything into this kind of stuff. Chris has been doing this long enough. I've been around the radio and music industry long enough to know that there are no sure things. And just because he's spending a week writing with this big country star doesn't mean anything's going to come out of it at all. So we wish him the best on that one. All right.
And the quote of the day is dedicated to him and everyone else out there.
All right. And here's your quote of the day.
Amazing.
I don't know why that makes us laugh so much. I think it makes us laugh because when we first started doing quotes of the day, it seemed like the first 3 we did were all "do your best," but worded.
That was one
right?
of them. One of them was actually "do your best today."
Right. One of them was "do your best today," and then the next day was like, "Today you should do your best." No,
Yeah,
it wasn't
something
that.
else.
It wasn't that easy, simple.
It's like the best is yet to come for the 3rd day. I'm like, all right.
All right. So Sam, tomorrow I said I want you to put your consultant hat on for tomorrow. So before you leave the show, you and I will have a conversation about your opinion of the show, your opinion of what you've witnessed, not just from the inside too, but also as somebody who is a fan of media. What you would like to see or what you think will help this show succeed when you're not here. Which I don't know. I don't know if the show can succeed without you here.
Don't say that. Yes, it can.
We'll do the best we can.
You guys will do fine without me.
Mm-hmm.
But
All
you want
right.
to bring in your guests?
Yes, I do. So thank you so much, and I will.
Do you want to take single source off?
I sure will. And thank you so much to our sponsor for the first 15 minutes of the Wake.Show, Single Source Insurance. So at this time, we're going to bring in my guest today. I got a couple of, let me see here. I got a couple of things that jumped out at me. Actually, just one thing that jumped out at me. Before we start talking football and start talking about community. Actually, yeah, no, I was thinking both of you here. Yeah, it was both of you here. I know that's a great shot. You know, we put his jerseys up there in the background. Let's. What you mean, like hang them on the TV? That's fine by me. Nah, don't hang it on that. Don't touch that thing, because that in the background. Oh, let's see here. That painting, from what I understand, is like a $4,000 painting or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So
I want to do that.
yeah. So I actually probably shouldn't have even hung the thing up in here, but it's such a cool painting of the Tampa Theater. Yeah, you guys get settled in there. Adjust your microphone.
Is my pen over there? Pen? Yeah, on the couch.
Oh yeah, on the couch there.
Yeah.
Very excited this morning. Like I said, yesterday we had a great. I felt like it was a speech, and I'm not going to put any pressure on you, Mr. Christie. You don't have to give a speech or anything like that. But I will say,
Speech.
the guy sitting next to me. Here you go. Here. Whoa, nice and zoom in there. Let's go back out. So let's welcome in on the right of your screen there, Super Bowl champ, Hall of Famer Earl Christie. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Fish.
Thank you so much for being on the show today. And on the left side of your screen, you have a radio veteran here in the Bay Area of over 25 years. About how long?
27.
26
okay.
years, yeah.
Todd T. Riley. And I always feel like I have to say your name like Todd T. Riley. I don't know why.
Great name.
That's the name I always go by, so, it makes sense.
All right. So Todd's the one that said, hey, man, I know this guy, and he played in the Super Bowl, and he's a very positive man. Now, you guys go to the same church?
No. No, we actually met when I was working at another radio station, WTIS, and Earl was doing a sports show on the weekends there, and I ended up running the board for him for his show and producing his show for him. And we just became really good friends, and we've been hanging out ever since. So,
all right. So one of the things, and thank you so much for coming to the show, but one of the things that the Wake.Show is trying to do is to bring in people and have conversations with all the interesting characters, if that's not derogatory, all the interesting people we have here in the Bay Area and positive influencers in our community. And from what I understand, you are one of those people. Earl Christie. So thank you so much once again for coming in. And I don't know where we even start with the conversation. So let me just say this. Let's start right here. Let's talk a little football since there was the NFL draft this last week. How much do you follow football?
I follow it very much because being a sportscaster since 1971, radio and television, so I definitely, and of course covering the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and also covered the New York Jets, and in fact all over the NFL, covering the Super Bowls and things of that nature.
All right, so what do you think of the draft this year then?
Well, I'm happy for the Bucks, and they got some good needs, especially on defense, because we've been known for great defensive teams, and I think they did a great job of their number one draft choice. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name because they have a contest on that right now. I just know he's going to make an impact with Gerald McCoy on that great defense.
Well, speaking of McCoy, the macaw is still in the news. So did you watch any of the draft at all?
Oh, yeah. I was glued to the TV, and no question about it. But and the Jets, of course, I still love the Jets, and I was just happy about their #1 draft choice. I think he's going to be probably as like a Joe Namath, from USC. I think they did a great job. I think they got their #1 quarterback. Although I think, unfortunately, they gave up on Geno a little bit too fast, Geno Smith. And Geno's probably going to be in San Diego. And some quarterbacks, mature real fast. And unfortunately, we think about the Russell Wilsons or
right.
Aaron Rodgers and Luck and all them, and we get spoiled. So quarterback is not an easy job, and most of them take at least 5 years or so.
So you're from Maryland originally, and
yes,
and went to college in Maryland.
Yes, sir.
And there's an interesting fact about Super Bowl III, the Super Bowl that you were in.
Yes, we were very fortunate in Super Bowl III to have 5 guys from my small college, Maryland State at that time, and University of Maryland Eastern Shore. 3 was on the Jets and 2 on the Colts. And the 2 guys on the Colts were James Duncan and Charlie Stukes. And on the New York Jets, we had Johnny Sample, Emerson Boozer, and myself. And 4 of us played together. Johnny Sample was the one that didn't play with us because he was older than us. And can you imagine from a small school like that? And the college was rooting for both teams, but I think they were favoring us a little bit.
And so an interesting piece of trivia that comes out is that the college that was most represented in that Super Bowl was your tiny little college there in Maryland.
No question, more than any college in America, in major colleges. It's unbelievable.
And you went to school in what year? The early 60s?
Oh, yeah, 1961, graduated from high school, and then went with the Jets in 66.
Wow. All right. Well, Todd T., when you first met him, what was it that struck you about Earl?
Positive, man.
Yeah.
Earl's probably the most positive person I've ever met.
As soon as he walked in the room, Todd.
Yeah.
Light up the room.
You can see it. He's that way, man. He just walks in. He's like, "Hey, I'm here."
So where does that positivity come from? Because I know you're a man of faith as well, right?
Oh yeah, no question about it. And I cannot thank, of course, my mother and dad, but my grandmother. She raised me. Actually, brought me home from the hospital, and that's one of the most important things in my life is that we had a lot of love in our family and had that strong spiritual foundation, and that's where it comes from. I've never seen so much love and really appreciate it as you grow older in life. And it's all about that, used to go to Sunday school and all those type of things. And one of the most important things in our family was respect and education. And those things go hand in hand.
We're looking at the NFL these days compared to when you were in the NFL.
Right.
Is it still, do you see a lot of similarities in the way that the game is approached, or is it just something completely foreign to what you experienced?
Well, not completely foreign. They changed some of the rules. They're trying to protect the young people. Of course, we're still having injuries because that's the type of game that we play. The thing that I've seen more so, and back in old school, we used to have what we call lockdown corners, man. They don't play man-to-man like we used to do, and they play a lot of zone. Now, the athletes are faster, they're stronger. Not necessarily that makes it better, you know what I'm saying, because the game it hasn't changed. It's still blocking and tackling, and it's mental. It's more mental than physical. Can you imagine that? And I see that's the difference from the old school, is that the game was handled more mentally, you know what I'm saying, and penalties now are more important, more prevalent than they used to be, especially on the special teams and things of that nature. And
so you were on special teams as well.
Yes.
In your career, and part of a famous play, at least one famous play, a couple famous plays. So you played an integral part in the Heidi, in that classic Heidi game, right?
Yeah, you would be my friend until you just brought that up. You had to bring it. No, that's okay. It's known as the famous Hottie game, Fish. No, I'm a forgiving man.
Listen, you're able to make good, so you know.
Yeah. I'll explain and go through that. But I'm very proud because of that game, and I'll explain what happened. Because of that game, television will never leave a game. It will be shown in its entirety. So that's the positive part about it. The part that we were leading the Oakland Raiders, and the game was just, you know, all we had to do, Joe Namath had to run out the clock. I just had to run the kickoff. They kicked. They scored a touchdown on us, but we still were in good shape with, you know, about a minute and so goes. All I had to do is run the ball up, and, you know, and Joe Namath would run the clock out by downing the football. But I'm running out of from the kickoff, and my own man took his elbow and knocked it out of my hand. It goes in the end zone. They scored 2 touchdowns in 9 seconds, literally 9 seconds. So, and I'm seeing the guy from the Raiders out here, and the ball going this way, and I'm saying, what? You know, I thought I had a nightmare. It was a nightmare, but my own man knocked the ball out, and it's on the film, Fish. So, you know, cameras don't lie, okay?
Wasn't my fault.
That's right. So
but what emotionally though? What was coursing through your gut and through your head when you were on the sideline after that?
Well, NBC literally played that so many times. I wanted to keep running out the stadium when the ball went out of my hands. And it's a funny part, and this is a true story. A friend of mine in New York was listening to the, you know, radio, and he was laughing and everything. He was telling me the story. So, and the Jets are winning, and, you know, the game's almost over. And so they went to Hottie, as you said, to keep television on time. So what happened, he goes through the tunnel, and the Jets are winning. And he comes out of the tunnel and it says, the New York Jets lost to the Oakland Raiders, and he almost wrecked his car. Oh, good night. That was a nightmare for him.
All right, but then, so let's fast forward.
Change sports TV forever, though.
Yeah.
Amen.
You're responsible for that.
I know it. That's why I said I'm forgiving Fish for bringing it up, but that's okay. That's a good thing.
All right, but then the famous drive that gives, you know, that wins the Jets the Super Bowl begins with you, though, right?
Amen. That's right, because we wouldn't be talking about us winning a championship, and that was one of the most significant games because it made the merger. American Football League and the NFL. And no question about it, because Green Bay won the first 2 Super Bowls.
And so this was where famously back then it was the AFL?
American Football League,
right,
and the National Football League.
And so you guys were not supposed to win it all. You're supposed to get your butts handed to you, and that's when Joe Namath famously said, we're going to win this game.
Well, Fish, I'm going to share something. You know, my grandmother didn't know much about football. She didn't guarantee the victory, but she said it on Monday that we were going to win. And back in my hometown, they call me early, okay? So they're going to win the Super Bowl because she was a praying lady, okay?
Right.
And all the people in church. Joe Namath predicted on Thursday, but he said he was going to guarantee the victory. My grandmother didn't guarantee the victory, but she said we were going to win. So,
that's awesome.
So first time I'm telling you now.
All right, so your grandmother predicted it long before Joe Namath.
Yeah, right. She didn't guarantee the victory, but she was a praying lady.
Well, if she was a powerful praying woman, then maybe he felt that's what he felt. He felt that prayer whooshing right through him,
right,
when he made that prediction.
Yeah.
All right. So, when did you retire from football?
Right after the Super Bowl, you know, and unfortunately I had a death in my family and that type of thing, and it just seemed like we couldn't hook up with another team after that was my last year in training camp.
So what have you done as a veteran over the years as far as, do you ever mentor younger players? Is that even part of like kind of the way the NFL is?
Oh, man, I thought you'd never ask. I was very blessed before I started mentoring young people. Of course, I went to school to be a physical education teacher, and I've had the good fortune of being a former teacher. I had the good fortune of playing professional show basketball with a team called the Harlem Wizards. But young people have been a really big thing in my life, and I just love it so much. In fact, the other day I was speaking at Blake High School to some young people about character and everything, and they had a graduation on kids that are going to be former teachers, and I was one of the speakers there in those type of programs called GPS, character program.
Okay.
But that is one of the most important rewards in my life, is to continue to work with young people. And of course, up till this year, we do the Joe Namath football camp for 46 years. This is going to be the first year that he won't have the camp, but he'll be doing some other things and working with the young people in the community and all different types of schools. That is the greatest reward. And I taught in Pinellas County for a couple of years when I taught in several states throughout the United States, physical education and substitute teaching. So it's all about young people.
What about the young people in the NFL? The approach to the way you guys handle yourselves on the field and off the field in the 60s and 70s versus what we see on the field and off the field today. Is it that different, or is it just there's more exposure, more cameras to catch all the stuff that is happening in the NFL?
Fish, that's a great question, great statement. It's so important. Off the field is as important as on the field, and yes, there's more exposure, more cameras and everything, but it's a different breakdown because unfortunately, in the sense, it's great that the kids are making a lot of money, and sometimes that can really make a difference because you're not used to doing those certain things, and people are living a faster life in the sense, more exposure of going. But I think that's one of the big issues, and to see the importance of the mentoring, and that's why teams are still getting young people, getting coaches that are helping the kids on the field as well as off the field. And it's so important because we're moving in a faster direction, like you said, with the media. We got all these things, Facebook and Twitter and things of that nature. So it is a different time, and we're working on that. And even unfortunately with the drug situation, things of that nature. So.
Yeah, plus you got guys coming out of college and then all of a sudden they're millionaires.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Were you a millionaire coming right out of college?
Man, I had to work 2 jobs, man. Are you kidding me? That's why they call it a taxi cab. And so some people had to drive a taxi cab. But I ain't mad at them, that's good, because it's all about balance in your life and you talk about that. But like you said, no, I had to work another job all season.
Yeah. I would imagine too during that time coming out of college, there was a lot of racial stuff in those days as well to deal with.
Oh, I definitely lived it. There's no question about it, and I shared that, and I'm so grateful for my spiritual foundation that it's all about forgiving and loving. And can you imagine? I grew up, I couldn't go in a bathroom. I had to go in the back of a restaurant to get a cheeseburger. I lived that, and how been called names and things of that nature. But I'm a forgiving person, and I know God, it will prevail, and that's what it's all about. That's why I love sports so much, because I tell you, Joe Namath was a greater person than he was a football player, and so it's a Hall of Fame. And this was one of the things that helped with our teams, because I played with kids from the South and Texas and all over, and that Joe brought that together. He would not tolerate that, and that was so great. And I remember a couple of my teammates, as we would learn about each other, and when they would say, "Hey Earl, I love you," because they accept me as a person and they see your heart, and that's what it's all about. That's why I love sports so much, and because it brought people together, even like the Olympics or whatever. That's the key factor, and show that if people don't care how much you know, they want to know how much you care.
I'm glad you put it, you phrased it, you framed it that way, because I have a tendency to sometimes get down on sports in America, because I feel like we as a culture have used our sports and entertainment and celebrities to escape You know, and not only that, but you know, fans can be. I mean, it's fanatical, right? And
Right.
And take this stuff very personally, where they'll hurt each other, kill each other over sports.
Right.
But you're 100% right. It's a powerful thing, and it brings community. It has the ability to wear down a culture too, but it also brings communities together in ways that not a lot of other things can.
You talk about community. I heard you talk about my favorite singer of all times, James Brown. He was born today?
On this day in 1933.
I have you to know, my buddy Emerson Boozer from Augusta, Georgia, okay, my teammate that with the Jets, and he was my teammate in college and the pros. But my wife sang in James Brown band, and you probably heard of her, and I'm going to give you her name, and she's made an impact in this community, and I just wanted to bring that up. That's Belinda Womack. That's my wife. So she sang the national anthem 20 years ago for the Rays, and she sang it this year. So we were at the game.
Cool.
Yeah, I had to. When you talk about community, and that's what it's all about. When we talk about community, and we have some great people in the community, especially business people that work together, and that's what it's all about. Family.
So you're from Maryland.
Yes.
You played for the Jets. What brought you here? That's a stupid question. I was going to say, what brought you to Florida? That's the dumbest question to ask anybody.
No, it's not, because I can do the same thing in Maryland as I can do in Florida, plus the weather, the snow, and all that. I give it. That's not a bad question, I mean, I can teach, and I taught in 7 different states, and yeah, so part of this is weather. I don't miss snow. Okay.
How long have you been a part of the community around here?
About 16 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's been really cool to have you on the show today. You are positive. I know exactly. I know exactly why Todd said, "Hey, you have to have this guy on, man." There's nothing but a ball of positive energy.
Well, you positive too, and
I'm trying.
You had me laughing, man. And you're gonna get me lockjaw, man. I was listening to you.
Good. Well,
I always say you can't help but be in a good mood when you're around Earl.
Amen.
And Todd, I want to thank you too, man, for yesterday. I couldn't have done yesterday's show without with you down there. I'm man in the controls.
Glad to help you
He
out, my
awesome,
friend.
isn't he?
He is.
Yeah, he's modest.
All right. Well, thank you so much, gentlemen, for stopping by the Wake.Show. You have a great day.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you
us,
very
Earl.
much. We appreciate it, buddy.
Chris,
All right.
appreciate it, Fish.
Thank you.
Thank you, Fish.
All right. Before I get out of here today, I only have one other thing that I have on my slate, really. And I just, before I go, just want to let everybody know that it seems like they are laxing the laws around the country when it comes to people who are now using medical marijuana. Because one of the big issues that was happening is that even though this is becoming legal around the country, it doesn't mean you can just start smoking pot or start vaping or edible, whatever you're going to end up doing, because the place where you work still may be like, no. You can't. You're not going to be, you have that stuff in your system and be around here at all. But desperate to hire, more businesses open doors to pot smoker, coming from WFLA.com. And they're dropping their marijuana from their drug tests as they require of prospective employees. Marijuana testing has been a fixture at large American employers for at least 30 years. One of the things that they never did in radio, at least for the most part, was test for drugs. We used to joke because as radio became more corporate after the telecommunications bill passed in 1996, and so it became more viable for bigger companies to come in and buy radio stations, they're bringing in their kind of corporate thinking as well, and so most of these companies will not, their policy is not to have, people on drugs. So we used to joke, well, what are you going to do in radio? Because everybody is on something. And also, this was back in time when I wasn't on anything. But pretty much everybody is on something. And you don't want to, and that's not even talking about just the on-air talents, going through the sales pool too. And so by the time I left radio a couple years ago, they had not instituted, that kind of the marijuana drug policy. But from what I understand, like the year after I left, that became a thing at the company I used to work for. Anyway, so I just want to let you guys know that if you're like me and you're waiting for your card to come in the mail you might be able to still keep your job or at least find a job because they're starting to drop those policies around the country. And that is that for the Awake.Show. Thank you so much for being a part of it today. Tonight, I will see you out at Masteries. For those of you that will be in a St. Pete Beach blind pass, doing trivia starting at 7 o'clock. And we're gonna have like a little May the 4th be with you pre-party because today's only May the 3rd. And so every fourth question tonight will be a Star Wars-oriented question. Every fourth question this evening. There's 10 rounds, so there'll be 10 of them. And there'll be four pointers. Will be a Star Wars oriented question. So I'll see you guys there. Have a great day. Be safe. Thank you so much for your participation, the likes and the shares. Be kind to yourself. Be good to your fellow man. And most importantly, let your crazy breathe.